Apologize for coming to you a little bit behind schedule. Good evening to you. Welcome to Politics Tonight. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Ogun State government confirms 1 dead, 5 persons hospitalized as cholera outbreak hit state with suspected cases rising in Lagos. Tonight we'll be discussing the Kano Emirate tussle, and I will be speaking with Hanif Wali, a constitutional lawyer. And later on the show, we will be focusing on mobilizing youths for renewed hope agenda. My guest is Dayo Israel, APC National Youth Leader. Welcome to Politics Tonight, everyone. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Let's turn our attention to recent developments in Kano State as the Federal High Court in Kano on Thursday nullified the reinstatement of Muhammad Sanusi II as the 16th Emir of Kano. The court also nullified all the actions taken after the controversial reinstatement. Tonight, let's get the legal perspective of Hanif Wali, a constitutional lawyer, on this very critical matter. Good evening to you, Mr. Wali. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Right. So this latest ruling by the Federal High Court is asking all parties to maintain status quo, thereby nullifying all the action by Kano State government. First, how do you interpret this ruling and what is the legal implication?
Yes, once again, good evening. So if you could recall, there was an order earlier made by the Federal High Court directing all parties to maintain status quo pending the determination of the suits. And the bill was assented to by the governor on the 23rd of May, 2024. So by the ruling today, all actions that were carried out by the government of Kano State from that 23rd of May, where the earlier order for interim application was made, all actions made were nullified by the courts, which can be interpreted as the appointment of Lamido Sanusi by the Kano State government stands nullified as it stands today due to the order of the courts today. And all other actions like the arrest warrants against the Emir Ado Bayero by the state government, and all other actions taken by the government stands nullified due to the order of the Federal High Court.
All right. So the judgment also says this does not affect the validity of the repealed Emirate law or actions taken by the governor. Does this mean the new bill reverting the state's highest ranking traditional institution to its former structure of one emir stands? Is that it?
Yes. The law, the Kano State Emirate Repeal Law of 2024, is valid and subsisting, and as it stands today, it is a valid law in place. So the judge in fact explicitly stated that the law is not affected by the ruling. The law is in place. However, all what was nullified are the actions that were taken pursuant to the order. All actions that were taken after the order was made, this is what was nullified. So as it stands today, the Kano State Emirate Law 2024 is valid and subsisting. So all the 4 emirates, which is including the Kano, making it 5, all the emirs have been deposed by the law. And the emirate is now, we have now 1 emirate in Kano State, pursuant to the law.
So if all of these emirs have been deposed, does this not validate the reinstatement of Emir Sanusi?
Sorry, come again?
I mean, you said, according to what the judgment says, you have now said that this means that all the 4 or 5 emirates earlier established in Kano have been deposed rather. So I'm asking, does this not validate the reinstatement of Emir Sanusi?
No, the reinstatement of Emir Sanusi was done after the law was passed. The governor used the powers conferred upon him by the law to appoint Mr. Lamido Sanusi. So the action of appointing or reinstating Mr. Sanusi came after the order was made, and it came after the law was passed. So, reinstatement of Emir Sanusi, as it stands today, the court has nullified that reinstatement and has ordered the parties to maintain status quo. Maintaining status quo, that is, at the time the earlier order was made, the bill was already passed and assented to by the governor. So the bill is intact. However, the reinstatement is what is affected.
All right, so when Justice Liman says the catastrophic situation could have been averted if the respondents followed due process, what exactly is due process in this regard?
Yeah, due process in this regard is that the law, the order of the court was that the parties should maintain status quo. If they had maintained the status quo, pending the termination of the case in court, if they had maintained status quo, then that means there was no need for him to go around making these subsequent orders. Because it's just because of the people that are aggrieved now came to court because the order that was made, the actions that were made by the Kano state government came after the order was made by the court. So, maintaining following due process now will mean that the Kano state government will have laid low, or let's say keep calm on the situation and wait for the case to be determined fully before making further steps in enforcing the law.
But would you agree with me that this is getting more complicated? Because at the moment, Governor Abba Yusuf says Emir Sanusi remains Emir. And within the same space of time, the Kano State Police Commissioner, AIG Hussein Gume, has given reasons why the police ignored Governor Abba Yusuf's directive on the eviction of the deposed Emir of Kano. How do we ordinary citizens interpret this?
Yes, we are in the political turmoil as regards to Kano State's emirship tussle. Because the state government has the right, or let's say has the power, because the law was passed by the House of Assembly pursuant to its powers given under the Constitution. The governor also assented to the bill pursuant to the powers given to him under the Constitution and also under the law. So there are two different parties, which are the Kano State government, which is acting on the law that has been passed, and also the Commissioner of Police. If you noticed earlier, the Commissioner of Police said that he was acting on the orders of the Federal High Court that ordered the parties to maintain status quo. The restraining order earlier given by the court that the parties should maintain status quo, and the Commissioner of Police has come out to say that he is complying with that order of the court. However, the Kano State governor had his own, they have their own plans, they have their own ways of executing the whole issue. However, the truth of the matter is that the court has already given its verdict. That is what should be followed at the moment. Court orders are meant to be obeyed by all and sundry.
Absolutely. So let's say on the power of the State Assembly to make laws to the effect of the good of the people. Now, when you juxtapose the current situation in Kano State, and that's this latest ruling, with the constitutional power of the State Assembly to make laws, what do you make of these two situations? Because there are those saying the people should be allowed to choose their leaders without any external interference. And is this an indictment on the judiciary with the level of conflicting orders this case has generated? I mean, Kano, for instance, Kano State High Court had earlier ruled in favor of Emir Sanusi, and in the face of these orders here and there, shouldn't the appeal courts be the next point? And who do we blame for this? The lawyers who set all of this in motion, or the judges?
It's utterly unfortunate that we are having such conflicting orders. However, the crux of the matter is that the Federal High Court in the first place does not have the jurisdiction to entertain the chieftaincy matter. It is within the jurisdiction of the State High Court. However, the parties there is a case already lodged at the Federal High Court and the one lodged at the State High Court. So in the face of this, I am the opinion that the Federal High Court will have transferred the case to the State High Court. The Federal High Court has the powers to transfer the cases to the appropriate court. Where a case is filed inappropriately at the Federal High Court, the Federal High Court has the powers, pursuant to the Federal High Court Act, to transfer a case to the court with to the competent court with jurisdiction. So, as things stand, it is the State High Court that has the jurisdiction. However, the situation we found ourselves in today in Nigeria is that, looking at the Kano Emirship tussle, for instance, the Federal High Court should not, in the first place, entertain the matter. The lawyers ought to have known, and I feel like the lawyers will take part of the blame, and the judiciary also will take the blame, because a lawyer is ethically bound by the law. Is ethically bound by the rules of the profession. And it is the rules of the profession that a lawyer should not participate in an abuse of court process, or should not make frivolous applications to the court. So when a lawyer outrightly knows that a court has no jurisdiction and still decides to file a matter in the court, I think it's cause for professional misconduct, and this could be looked into by the relevant authorities, all right, like the Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee and all. Frivolous cases are not to be, abuse of court processes are not allowed. And a lawyer is bound by the rules of the professional conduct, which stops a lawyer from filing frivolous cases in court, or a case that, the court doesn't have jurisdiction. It's one of the rudiments of the law that you need to understand the court that has jurisdiction. Even before approaching the court to file a process, you need to clarify on which court has jurisdiction, because jurisdiction is the live wire of a case. Without jurisdiction, all the proceedings, no matter how well it is null and void. A court without jurisdiction is all the proceedings, all the orders made are null and void.
All right, so on this particular matter, and especially these conflicting orders, one from the State High Court, the other from the Federal High Court, is one above the other, or they are both courts of competent jurisdiction? All right, I've been speaking with a constitutional lawyer, Hanif Wali, and tonight we discuss the Kano Emirate tussle. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Wali. I should let you go now. Thank you very much. All right, so we sincerely apologize for the glitches on the program tonight, and that's where we wrap it up tonight. Please have a great weekend, everyone. Good night.